anything creative, you have to push yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
You teach yourself. You can't go. You can go to school for skateboarding and for art, but to continue the process to learn more, it's all about you and your skateboard or you and your paintbrush.
Skateboarding is literally what got me into photography.
As far as I can remember, really, I've always known that I wanted to draw, like for a living as well.
I have a brand called Salon, so I started that as a graphic design project, so I really like digital design, but I also love designing clothes. So at the moment, it's just boards and t-shirts, but I'm really hoping to expand it into some more like nice fashion pieces. I actually really love clothes, and really nice clothes and really feminine clothes, and I managed to make that work for skateboarding rather than the other way around.
I've always been creative. My parents have always called me the cut and paste girl.
It's sort of, so I can't really explain it, but it's my nature and it's something that I've always done. But I think in terms of like growing up and then becoming a skateboarder, I think most people that are into skateboarding are artists in some way.
I think skateboarding is quite good for creativity, because with skateboarding, if you get an idea, you have to really work through your ideas, or you think of a line, it takes a long time to put it together. So it's the same, like if you have an idea for a project, it probably makes you more patient with the whole idea coming together and working at it really hard.
My dad, like growing up outside of skateboarding, he was always an artist too. Like we had his artwork hanging in the house and stuff, and I always grew up seeing that. So being surrounded by that at such a young age, I feel like influenced how I am today.
I didn't do art until I was about 16. I was hanging out with a group of creative people, musicians, and I also had like a lot of built-up anger and all of that inside me.
Sort of tried skateboarding when I was a little kid, so I always just had a natural interest in that, but I wasn't really allowed to do it. And then I guess my interest in fashion has just been from when I could see and pick my own clothes.
I started skateboarding when I was 16, but I really came into my own when I went to Leeds, because I went to university there. So that's where I sort of learned to skate properly.
It wasn't enough to just be skating. I wanted to document it and start shooting photos to sort of show exactly what we were doing, that sort of thing.
And it wasn't just perhaps even photographing and skating, it would be architecture, it would be street photography, it could be anything, but I'd always have my camera, and yes, it would be always a few skating photographs, but it was always kind of went hand in hand.
I shoot digital and film sort of in equal amounts, really. So I do like shooting a big digital shot, but then at the same time, film's got this beautiful aesthetic which pulls me towards it, and I'm drawn to shooting film a lot as well.
Well, I started skating a long time ago now, about 20 years ago. And I was really lucky to be picked up by Galaz and Carhartt sort of early 2000. Through that, part of the deal was I had to go out and do competitions, which I was never really that comfortable doing anyway. So when I was riding Galaz, I asked them if instead I could actually take photographs of the team.
So I was a skateboarder for about 10, 11 years, if not a bit longer. I started documenting the scene as a part of, still being a part of it, but I've been in the fashion industry since I was like 24. So after I moved to Barcelona to skate for a while, and then I came back and I went to London and I worked for Topshop and Topman as a shoot producer. So I got that job, I don't know how, I just winged it. And basically I just produced photo shoots for them. So I would like book models, casting, mood boards, all that sort of stuff. So that kind of helped me with that kind of side of learning how to compose a photo.
Grew up skateboarding, so that's always going to be a part of what I do, I guess.
When I was about 15, 16 is when I started skating.
He grew up skating. He got his first board at 11 years old. No, 9 years old.
Whoa!
9 years old, and then he met Nick Lockman. They started skating. He moved out the neighborhood at first, and he used his skateboard to skate back and hang out with his friends.
He remembers.
I had always wanted to do fashion when I was a kid, and I'd always felt, because I was from a really working class family, that it was like above me to do that. and uni wasn't on the cards for me. And then one day I just decided to go, and I didn't really have very good qualifications from college, so I just went there and like begged them to let me in.
I skateboarded. I think I was 16 or 17. I started skateboarding. It didn't get till I was 18. I did a product design for A level, and I decided to go to art college for a year before I decided what I was going to do at university. So then that was the little route, and then art college that blew my mind. Being introduced to performance art and graffiti and skateboarding.
I'm not sure if it's the creativity or like my temperament, but I just kind of coasted through. All my reports said you should try harder, probably like for art as well, if I'm honest.
Concentrate.
I picked up photography around 1998. I was doing my A-levels. I failed the first time around.
I was good at school. I went on to do college and then a degree in photography.
So when I went to uni, I'd done pretty good at school, and then when I left school I went to study art, and I just was too free at college. I didn't do very well at college, but between college and university I skateboarded for a lot of years, and I feel like I ended up getting a first at uni in fashion, and I can put that down to having learned how to learn through skateboarding and trying things over and over again and realising that you can do something if you keep at it.
I was good at high school, but when I went to uni, I just found myself, I wanted to be a skater and I wanted to be a part of that scene, and in order to do that, you had to be day in and day out. So that's what I wanted to do, and I found my home, I found my friends.
That was good, but did I go to university? I did not. I had dreamed of going to study architecture, but skateboarding took over my world at 17 when I turned pro and took my attention away from academics early on.
Coming through school, there wasn't any of the usual questions about, so what are you going to do? It was kind of school, then college, then university, just pursuing that dream, I suppose.
Finding skateboarding is what led me to photography.
It's like a finger. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glow. Don't think. Don't think. Feel.
When I first started taking photographs, I took everything and anything, and then as it gradually became my job, I don't take photographs anymore, but the one thing that has always stuck there is skate photography. I think the thing about skateboarding is because it can be done pretty much anywhere, there's always a different environment that a skateboarder is assessing and using, and it's the way that they're using the environment, it's the environment itself. I think with skateboarding especially, it's so organic, and just being able to relate that into a shot. And although obviously you don't make £1 million from skateboard photography, it's the one that always, a bit like skating, always draws me back, and it's the one thing, if I invest in equipment, I make sure it's, crosses over to be able to be useful taking photos of skating as well.
With the children's book, it's ingrained in me through my experiences in skateboarding.
So in a way, the book was like autobiographical.
He said
of your story.
So, skating down the street with your friends, going to the skate shop, and, hanging out with people of different nationalities.
I think I was 18 when I first started putting stickers up and making like weird sculptures and sticking them on the wall or hanging them from alleyways, or drawing things where I shouldn't be drawing with a pen. And that's kind of how it triggered. And then as time went on, I slowly started painting a lot more, to the point where at points in my life, or maybe a year in my life, it's every day.
out to show them. Come 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 out to show them.
It was kind of a college that I was shown what illustration is, and it kind of clicked quite early on that that would be the path I would take, become an illustrator. It's more a need than a want. It's as much part of me as the skating is, which is as much part of me as anything else, really.
I love school. I really enjoyed school, but I decided that it was time that I wanted to sort of, go off and do something else. Although I turned up to lessons, I wasn't always the best student, and I just didn't have that interest. Although I'd taken subjects I liked, obviously they didn't work out at A-level, and I ended up doing this evening class with a friend of mine. It was black and white printing, and it's just the most amazing experience. That the next day I went into college and I just said, look, I want to take up an A-level photography. I only had a year to do it in, but I was more focused because I'd found a subject that, I was so in awe of.
Come out to show them. 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 Come out to show them.
But I just remember that first time of putting a piece of paper in the developer and, just sort of seeing it appear on the paper. I thought there's nothing more amazing than doing this. And so when I did do my A-levels the second time round, I knew then I wanted to do photography, and so I worked really hard.
I mean, school's all about black and white things, like 10 plus 10 is 20. It's wrong or it's right. Yeah, it's kind of the more creative side of school subjects could appeal, but for the most part, school is boring. School doesn't really tend to teach you what the world is actually like, and how hard it will be to actually achieve what you set out to do. And skateboarding teaches you that.
I skated every day when I was at uni, and my poor dad, I just passed, but I wanted to skate and I wanted to be a part of this industry, and now this is what I've done, so it worked out.
That's one thing that skateboarding and graffiti are so good at. It's about self-motivation and pushing you to do something. If you do it, you're going to learn something from it, or it's going to benefit you in the long run.
I think that skateboarding helped me with university is that I had to learn to sew, and it was really difficult learning to sew, especially some of the more complex things. Whereas I think previously to skateboarding I may have given up because it was really difficult. I had quite a good mindset where I would just do something, take it out, do it again, keep doing it again, because I knew that I would eventually get it, because that's how skateboarding works.
Failure is the key to success. Because even with the children's book, I mean, the core of skating could have shunned it. Because when you learn a trick in skateboarding, you have to fall down a lot, you have to get up and keep trying. And anything creative, you have to be immune to failure. You have to invite failure in to learn.
You know what? I would say absolutely anybody could shoot skateboarding, and anybody could pick up a film camera and try and shoot with that. And the thing about that is, I think, say a kid picks up a film camera for the first time and shoots some photos, they're going to get the negs back, and they're going to learn from what they've done. So the same principle in learning tricks in skateboarding. Definitely, like, you just go back again till you figure out what you've done wrong. And in photography, that could be the same. So especially shooting film, you shoot something, you get your photos back from the lab and see what went right, see what went wrong, figure out what you've got to do the next time, go out and shoot again.
Well, it pushes you to try things that perhaps you don't in your head feel that you'd be comfortable with, but once you've done it you realise things aren't as bad as you originally thought, and I think that's the sort of thing it really, really teaches you.
It's the best thing ever. Like, you can travel, it teaches you to be confident, make friends, be yourself, creative. It feels like home, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Like, anyone who thinks that they can't do something haven't done it or haven't tried to do it. It's the same, the link between graffiti and skateboarding. And if you really want to get a tag, unless you practice it, you won't get a tag. So there's a amount of people who come up to you and say, like, I wish I could skateboard, or I wish I could paint that piece you just painted, or whatever. The only difference between you and me is I'm doing it and I'm trying to do it and trying to better myself and trying to learn from it and learning from failing, rather than just not trying it at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you grow in skateboarding. And anything creative, you have to push yourself.
Yeah, you could have knowledge but still not be a doer. Like when I was younger and like I'd be doing a poster project for science or something, if I messed up writing and marker, you'd be like, all right, have to do it over again. Like, that's okay, but we're just gonna have to do it over. And so it definitely pushed like that idea that even if you do it and you do it wrong, you can always do it again and like fix it, right your wrongs.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember the first photos I took, and they just started up a female column at the sidewalk, and I'd taken some photographs of Laura Crane, who also used to skate on galas, and I just remember getting a reply saying these are rubbish.
I've made loads of mistakes, and I'm glad that I did, because now I'm a better person for it. And I think you're human if you make mistakes, so don't ever beat yourself up if you do, because it's a way of getting better and learning.
It was basically, I had one lens, the Pentax and a 50mm lens, and yeah, you can do a lot with a 50mm, but at the time I wasn't really technically minded, so I could have gone away and gone fine. They thought it was crap, I'm never doing this again. But then I went away, I chatted to one of the photographers who actually shot for the sidewalk, Richie Hobson, and he was like, right, you need a camera that syncs at this speed with a flash, you need this sort of fisheye, you need this sort of lens. And it was great, I could go out and buy it all second hand. And so I learned a lot.
Every painting is a different trick, if we're linking skateboarding to it all the time. The satisfaction from a certain pen on a certain material, the same as a wheel or a truck on a certain material, to the way your wheels slide out on a bank. It's all a very tactile process.
Yeah, so it's like what Stacey Brower says about skateboarding. It's all about feeling what you're doing with your hands when you're carving banks and stuff. And you could say the same about print.
Yeah, I think the two are intrinsic and very much inform each other, don't they?
When I'm working, when I'm doing photography or design or any other sort of creative thing, there's always an end goal of wanting to publish a zine or do an exhibition.
Because I skate a lot with females, and a lot of the exhibition work that I've done, I've always been involved because of photographing women.
This is my babies. This is volume 1. There's going to be a volume 2 and a volume 3 because when I started it, there was only a handful of skaters that wanted to be a part of it. But now I've done it, I've met so many amazing girls that I wish I'd known about before I'd done this, because it would have been a lot fatter.
When I do the animations, it's just the best thing when they come together. Having sat there and drawn, like the Chris Fanner thing's a good example. There was like 600 frames to draw. Yeah, 600 stills is a lot to draw, especially like if no one's paying you and it's in your spare time. But it's very much a labour of love, and I suppose that shines through with pretty much everything I'm doing at the moment.
And a lot of it's about enjoyment. If you're enjoying doing it, that's the main thing, because you'll enjoy the outcome a lot more because you've had fun doing it.
It's made me who I am. It's made me more confident because I'm not generally that confident, and it's allowed me to make friends because I'm not very good at that.
It definitely informs who you are.
The way I work with my painting especially is I'll see a spot and I'll go, I need to hit that. And whether it takes me the next day or that day or a month, that's in my head, and it won't, until I complete that, it won't go. Similar to skateboarding, you see an opportunity and you can't forget about it until you complete it.
I think that skateboarding has taught me perseverance, and that you can learn stuff quite methodically. It doesn't have to be this super scary thing. You can just like learn something very slowly and enjoy the process of learning it.
For all the makes that you see in a video, it's like how many times has that skater gone down those stairs like a sack of spuds?
If you don't fail, you don't learn, and being not scared to fail. So if someone asks you like to draw on a piece of paper, if you're not even willing to try to draw on a piece of paper, you'll never learn from that. You'll always just wish you could do something.
It's taught through trial and error.
Falling.
Yeah. Being able to fail and get back up and
Be
learn,
like,
trying again.
Don't do that again.
Until you learn.
The higher you want to climb, the harder you're going to fall. The further you're going to fall, maybe as well. Very much, that's what skateboarding is, isn't it?
There is no other life.
I'll just speed that up.
Better than that.